Hey, you're listening to the punk rock demonstration with me, Jack, and we're in the van at Alex's bar with the Briggs, and you are.
I'm Joey.
And what do you do in the Briggs?
I sing and play guitar.
And is it right that you play with your brother in the band?
Yeah, my brother Jason, he's a guitar player. He also sings some of the songs.
So how did you guys get, or why did you guys decide to start a band together?
Actually, we've been playing bands together since we were kids. I mean, we both picked up instruments like in our early teens, and from the beginning, we've always been in bands together. So, and this is just one of the many. So it just over the years, we're always doing different projects and stuff like that, and it led us to just being where we are right now.
Have you always been doing punk rock, or did you just start punk rock with the Briggs?
I mean, we had several different punk rock bands, but we also had different just rock bands and stuff like that too when we were younger. I mean, we've done all sorts of different stuff, but yeah, I mean, we've also had several different punk bands.
Does the name Briggs mean anything, or is it just a name?
It's basically just a name. I mean, I don't put too much significance on band names really. I mean, I think it's just something that at least can kind of give a picture a little bit of what a band is all about, maybe, I guess. I mean, I honestly don't think it really is too significant because a band name just basically becomes what the band is. You know what I mean? Like where Green Day, it's like it doesn't really say anything necessarily, but you kind of when you think of the name, you just think of the music. The music kind of speaks for the band, so it doesn't really matter what you're called.
So it's like the name Joey. There's no significant meaning to it. It's just a name and who you are, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the way we came up with it is it's a street that I live off of, and it was like, oh, that sounds cool, and it just kind of worked out. So we're just like, all right, that's fine. Band names is one of the hardest. That's probably one of the hardest parts of starting a band is agreeing on a band name. So it's like, we had done that so many times with so many different bands that it's just like. I was so fed up with even like the idea of having to come up with another band name, and so I try not to dwell on it too much. Is this, really represent the band well? It's like, who cares? It's just a band name.
Yeah, I was talking to my boss the other day about that, and he's not really into punk rock, but I've taken him to a couple punk rock concerts, and he's like, "Oh, I really love those punk band names. They just like take any random words off the street, and most of them are like street names and
Yeah.
everything." So
Yeah.
it's funny that you talk about that, and I was just talking to my boss about that the other day. Do you think there's that do you think there's that thing going around with other punk rock bands just grabbing random words off the street and naming their band that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to do it, you might as well come up with something that might have something to do with you personally rather than, like, I really just am, I really don't like band names that are just, like, really trite in terms of, like, okay, yeah, that's going to be a punk band or something because it's called, like, corrupt system or something like that. It's just like, all right, whatever. To me, that's just kind of boring.
Unless they're like some political band. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, if it works for the band, that's fine. But there's so many bands that you get it confused with because it's just there's so many bands that have a name that sounds similar to that. You know what I mean?
Mhm. So how's it like playing with your brother in a band?
It's fine. I mean, we get along really well. It's I think it's for us it works out really well just because we do get along pretty well, and most brothers probably would never be able to be in a band together, but we've always had a pretty good relationship in terms of being friends and stuff. So it's probably him and I are probably the closest two in the band. So it works out to my advantage just because you already have so many people that you start a band with or you're in a band with, and it's like you get in some huge fight or something, and that could be it. You know what I mean? Because you got nothing that's really tying you together. But when you're brothers, it's like you're not going to get in a huge fight and then break up a band. It's just like you're brothers and you're stuck with that. So you have to deal with it. So, and I think it makes for really good blatant honesty as well, because you can't really be honest with just pals or friends, as opposed to with a brother. You could be like, dude, you're fucking lame or whatever, and you're still friends afterwards.
There's that family thing there where you guys won't split up because you get into a fight, whereas some other bands, that's it. So how'd you find your drummer Chris?
We actually had been friends for a while before he joined the band. He was actually in another band, and we played shows together and stuff. And and I had just been friends with him. He was just a good friend of mine. And then I was playing drums for the band at the time, and I was singing and playing drums, and that really wasn't working out in the long run, just because it's just too much to juggle, just because you have to have someone up front to really be able to connect with the audience. And if I'm all the way at the drums singing back there, it just doesn't have the same effect. So we decided that we needed to just get a drummer, and his band was kind of on the skids and they were pretty much done. So we're like, "You want to join the Briggs?" And he's like, "Absolutely." So it worked out.
Yeah, have you ever seen the band Crack House?
No.
There's this band Crack House. Their lead singer is also the drummer. I think he does an awesome job, but it's kind of interesting having the front man in the back,
Yeah.
you know? Anyways, so what are some of your favorite bands?
Well, I go through phases. I listen to a lot of different stuff, and I obviously there's a lot of staple bands that I'm very into, like The Clash, obviously, and Stiff Little Fingers and Toy Dolls and stuff like that. But it changes, because it's like there's only so much music there to listen to, because I have all those records and I've listened to them all. So like I listen to stuff that just comes along, and then kind of add that to my favorite band list or whatever, and then I kind of move on to new things and stuff like that. Lately, I actually mostly have been listening to a lot of like Bob Dylan and Billy Bragg, Elvis Costello, stuff like that.
Billy Bragg has a lot of cool songs.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
one of your favorites?
Waiting for the Great Leap Forward is probably one of my favorite songs of his. Yeah.
Do you think any of those other bands have an influence on how you write your songs?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that for me, it's like all the music that I listen to has an influence on the way I write music, because it's like I listen to music because I admire it and like the way it's, organized and the way it's written and the lyrics and stuff like that. So it definitely gives me, something to work with the way, I come up with things or whatever like that. I definitely feel that with listening to certain things, it's like, oh, that's kind of a cool like way of thinking. Different people have different perspectives on things, and they word things differently, and then it kind of gives a new direction to maybe try something different.
Do you ever listen to your own songs?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I when we were recording Back to Higher Ground, I mean, I was listening to the record like a lot when when it first was done, because it was just like, we were very proud of it, and we were listening to it all the time in the van and stuff. And I would definitely say we do, or at least I do, listen to our own music.
Well, let's take a listen to Back to Higher Ground, since it's one of your newer ones, and it seems like a lot of people like it. And I heard it's playing on K-Rock, is that right?
It did play on K-Rock. It's not necessarily playing on K-Rock, but they played it because Rodney on the Rocks, like he was playing it on his late night show, and then, being the nice man that he is, decided that he was going to feature us as like a new up and coming band or something like that on the Flash Forward or whatever. They have like the right after the flashback lunch or whatever, they have the Flash Forward, and he featured us on that. So like a really nice primetime spot, and we were really, really excited about that. It was really cool.
Is Rodney on the Rock in the afternoons now or something?
No, he just has a thing. I don't know if it's every day or every week or something like that, but right after flashback lunch, they do like he does like a featurette of some band that he's into or wants to give like, props to or something like that.
Does he still have his late night slot?
As far as I know, honestly, I barely ever listen to K-Rock, because every time I turn it on, it's Linkin Park. Literally every time I turn it on, it's Linkin Park. So I don't really listen to it. So I'm assuming he still has his show on like late nights on Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, I stopped listening back in the 1999s or so,
Oh, yeah.
because every time I turn on, at the time it was every time I turn on, it's Blink-182 or Jimmy Eats World.
Yeah.
And now when my boss puts it on in the car once in a while, it's still Blink-182 and Jimmy Eats World.
Yeah.
So Anyways, enough with that bashing. Let's take a listen to Back to Higher Ground, and you're listening to the punk rock demonstration with me, Jack, and we're at Alex's bar with the Briggs.
I'm introduced to a plague of ignorance. Might be my own, but I can't be too sure. Looking to be rescued with the sign of deliverance. It can't exist, it can't exist. Passing across the call the heat of the moment. It freezes up like the devil's abode. Don't look for trouble, you're the salt of the earth. Now we can't regress, we can't regress. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Hook and dry up like the LA River, but jobs never last forever. Our thought for more is just human nature, and we can't regress, we can't regress. Socially conscious or subconsciously social. Show my true colors like a waving flag. Make up and strive for direction that I lack. We can't regress, we can't regress. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Dancing on their grave to the sound of savage victory. With the power we possess, I'm telling you it can exist, it can exist. Sing a song of freedom, pay homage to the fathers that paved the way for sonic liberty. Under the ring so true, and all of us we can regress, we can regress. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down. Back to higher ground. Reaching up, we won't back down.
Yeah, that was Back to Higher Ground by the Briggs, and you're listening to the punk rock demonstration with me, Jack, and we're here at Alex's bar with the Briggs. And you can check out the website at www.punkrockdemo.com, and you can send me an email at punkrockdemo@yahoo.com. So I hear this is your first day of the tour. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we have never met the guys from Blood or Whiskey, or actually, no, we actually did meet them once, but we never played together. And so I'm looking forward to hearing those guys, and it's a good lineup, and I'm pretty just stoked to be back out on the road and doing our own tour. This is like we put the bands together, and we kind of put this whole thing in the works, so it's kind of exciting to see how it goes.
So you guys have never played, but you put them together. Is there any particular reason why you picked this lineup?
Basically, I mean, I feel like kids, if they're gonna go to a show, they want to see at least two bands that they're gonna enjoy. And what happens is when you leave it up to clubs to book other bands, they really do a shitty job. Like, honestly, like, so many times we'll be playing in some city or whatever, and it's up to the promoter to find local bands, and they're most of the time miserably bad, and it's not really fair to the kids that are paying however much money they are to get in the door. They should have fun the whole night. So I just figured if you have three good bands playing that the kids will most likely like at least two of them, then they feel like they got their money's worth and they had a good time. So that's and I feel that Time Again's got a cool thing going, and Blood or Whiskey's a great band, so I figured let's do it. Why not?
Yeah, the craziest thing I've ever seen before was I was watching one of these shows at the Glass House, and it was a punk rock concert, and they had there were four bands total. They had three punk rock bands and one rap group. And it just totally killed it because the rap group was up right after the first band, and then everybody just left. And then they came back and but anyways, let's listen to another song. I have the CD here called Leaving the Ways. Is there any song you want to hear on here?
How about Waiting in the Shadows? That's always a crowd pleaser.
How did you come up with Waiting in the Shadows, and what's it mean?
Well, actually, that song you'd have to ask Jason. That's Jason's song, so I couldn't really tell you. But yeah, I could tell you about my songs, but I can't speak for him on his.
Okay, let's listen to Waiting in the Shadows, and then we'll talk about some of the other songs that you write.
Okay.
And you're listening to the Punk Rock Demonstration with me, Jack.
We've got a problem here. I can't go anywhere. Someone locked the door, threw away that key. You have to live somewhere, but you won't find it. I've got my whole life letting it control me. With this equal, open it to limit of who all let us walk on road. You check under your thumb, but everyone's that dumb. Don't think that you can go and understand it's not. Summer in the city, walking in the streets, waiting in the shadows. Summer in the city, walking in the streets, waiting in the shadows. I feel uncomfortable, someone untrustable with the consequences of your actions. There's no one inside, seems like he's doing fine, but underneath this there's a different man. Who was it ever saw? We thought that we knew you, but now she's still on the road. I'm leaving the ways, these are number things. Can't say that this crowd anymore. Somewhere in the city, walking the streets, waiting in the shadows. Somewhere in the city, walking the streets, waiting in the shadows. Somewhere in the city, walking the streets, waiting in the shadows. Somewhere in the city, walking the streets, waiting in the
Yeah, welcome back. That was Waiting in the Shadows by the Briggs, one of Jason's songs. And we're talking here with Joey from the Briggs at Alex's Bar, and I'm Jack. So what do you do besides the band?
Really, honestly, the band takes up most of my time, so I don't do a hell of a lot other than the band. Other than I'm married, so I have the married life thing going, and but other than that, that's what I do. I'm in a band and I'm married.
Do you plan to do the band for your whole life, or do you plan to just do it while you're young and then find one of those regular jobs when you get older?
We'll see how it goes. I mean, that's not really for me to say, honestly. I mean, I would obviously love to do it for the rest of my life, but it really depends on if the cards fall right, basically. But obviously this is what I'd love to do for the rest of my life.
What do you think about the current punk scene? Do you think it's like really big, or bigger than it was before, or do you think it's getting smaller, or about the same, or what?
It's really kind of hard to tell. I think that it's kind of at a lower point than it was maybe a couple years ago, but in different forms it's bigger than it used to be a couple years ago. It's just it changes form so much that it's really hard to really tell if it's getting larger or smaller. But I'd have to say that it's definitely not as commonplace as it was a few years ago. I think that there was a really big resurgence of a lot of older bands and stuff, and there was a lot of that whole thing going on. But I think that it goes in waves, just like it always has. You know, like in the early '90s, it kind of was not really happening too much, and then in the mid '90s with Rancid and all these other bands that kind of popped up and were doing their thing, it got really big again. So it just goes in waves. It's, you know, it will never really go away, but it definitely will be at times smaller than at other times.
So, do you think there's more people that are more into the music in the older generation, or do you think it's more of the younger people?
I think punk rock is mainly it's kind of a younger person's thing, but I mean there's a lot of older people obviously involved that have been into it for forever and have been into it since they were young. Punk rock, to some degree, it has a whole youth side to it. It has that whole, like, you know, young and snotty and rebellious, so it kind of has that whole, you know, adolescent teenage vibe to it. So it's always going to be for the younger kids, but it's for, you know, there's a lot of obviously older people that were into it when they were kids, so they still enjoy it. So
Are you guys going to play 21 and over shows on your whole tour? Are you going to play some under 21 or a mix, or how's it going to go?
oh yeah, I mean obviously we don't like playing 21 plus shows at all, but sometimes we don't have a choice because some cities don't actually have any all age venues. Like LA is pretty, you know, lucky in that sense that they really have a lot of venues that allow a bar and kids to be in it, because a lot of places you can't mix the two, and if it's an all ages venue then you can't have any alcohol, and most of those places are usually very unorganized and very kind of makeshift. But I mean, we always try to get as many all ages venues on a tour because, you know, it's just stupid to not have let the kids into shows. So, but sometimes we really don't have a choice because also with conflicts of other shows already happening on those nights, we have, like, you know, third pick or whatever of a venue, so it's like, well, we have to go play at, you know, Joe Schmo's bar, so it's like, all right, well, whatever. You know, we have to fill the date. We can't just be sitting on our ass, so we have to play a show. So sometimes we have to do that. So it sucks, but what can you do?
What do you do when you're not playing a show?
On the road, most of the time, I sleep or I don't know, just try to keep busy somehow. Just, I don't read very much. I'm not much of a reader, and that kind of helps a lot of people usually because they have that to pass the time. We watch movies, go to like a mall or somewhere where you can walk around and just look at stuff, whatever, just something to pass the time until it's time to load in. But, you know, mostly we spend a lot of time at the venues because it's like we load in the early afternoon and we just kind of hang out and eat or whatever. It's just passing the time. There is a lot of downtime on tour, that is for sure. There's a lot of downtime of just sitting and waiting for the show to start, basically.
Sounds like fun. So do you plan to find a job in the future, or do you just plan to just do the band?
Well, if I'm getting a normal job at some point, I would definitely be pretty bummed. But, you know, life goes on, and if things don't pan out and things don't work out as a band, obviously I'm going to have to do something. So I'll I don't know, I'll become an accountant or something like that. That would be cool.
So you can manage all the money and have enough money to, like, tour the whole world for it, not have to work anymore. Well, anyways, let's listen to another song. You said you wrote One Shot Down and Top 40 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's listen to One Shot Down. Is that song about alcohol, or is it about something else?
Oh no, One Shot Down actually it's not like a shot like you're taking a shot. It's one shot down, meaning someone getting shot. It was actually a it's like a true crime story. It's about a guy with the split personality who doesn't actually even realize he's killing people because it's this other side of him that he doesn't even know about. It's like that whole whatever. But anyways, yeah, it was just a concept that I had come up with. Just I got actually inspired by just different movies that I had been watching and stuff like that, like Fight Club and stuff, and it kind of inspired me to have a song about some dude that has that whole, whatever you call it, what's the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde or whatever that, or is it the other way around? I don't know, it's something like that. You know what I'm talking about. So basically, that kind of a concept.
Yeah, I always got confused because it sounds like a shot of alcohol going down, and sometimes it sounds like something else. So
That's funny. You're the first person to mention that. That's interesting. I never even thought about it that way. 1 shot down, 2 shots down. Well, hey, there you go.
anyways, let's take a listen to the song and see what you think. You're listening to the Punk Rock Demonstration with me, Jack.
No one's here, but I'm not alone. My skin's no longer bone. I'm a parasite host, million ghosts of who I used to be. Till I get out running free. They say it looks just like me. Voice in my head, I was misled by a stranger with my face. But now I got nowhere to run and I got nowhere to hide. Someone else got at me, calling it double on my side. But it's too late. They won't stop till they have someone to be. One shot down, 2 shot down. I've been so down for long to my day. 1 shot down, 2 shot down. I lost searching for my country with no chance of parole. Vigilantes never do. They show no remorse. The gallows stand. The town is meant for hanging in the square. It's a fate that's worth to live. Counting on every breath. There's no escape except my fate. And I'm falling on. Now I got nowhere to run and I got nowhere to hide. Someone that's got at me, coming in double on my side. But it's too late. They won't stop till they have someone to blame. 1 shot down, 2 shot down. I've been so down for long to my daddy. 1 shot down, 2 shot down. And I'm setting for my country with no chance of parole. Oh, but it's too late for me to stop having this today. 1 shot down, 2 shot down. I've been so down for long to my daddy. 1 shot down, 2 shot down. Must I now fractured in two? 1 shot down, 2 shot down. I've been so down for long to my daddy. 1 shot down, 2 shot down. They go and take us out. Now they are laying in the dirt.
Hey, that was 1 Shot Down by the Briggs. Do you guys have a website?
Yeah, it's thebriggs.org actually, which is kind of lame, but it's actually going to be coming.com pretty soon. We're working on that. But yeah, as of right now, it's thebriggs.org, but soon to be thebriggs.com.
Was it because you couldn't get the domain in the first place?
Yeah, when we first started the band, the domain wasn't available, but now it became available recently, so we bought it, and so hopefully soon that will be all sorted out. But obviously, really, MySpace is one of the main things. We have the MySpace, / the Briggs or whatever. That, always has our most up-to-date shows and stuff like that, because it's much more interactive, with people and shows and stuff. That definitely usually takes precedence over the website, because websites are somewhat obsolete at this point.
If MySpace would work, that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. What's with that? It's been like all over the place. Sometimes it works. It's just so frustrating sometimes.
It's because they're using Windows.
There you go.
Anyways, that's about it for the interview. Thanks for the interview,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I hope to see you out there. You've been listening to the punk rock demonstration with me, Jack, and we're here at Alex's bar with the Briggs, and we'll end it off with what do you think we should end it off with?
Let's do top 40.
Okay, let's listen to Top 40, and I'll see you all next time.
Out of bed with a plastic smile. Controversial relations keep you on top for a while. At the top of the charts, the bottom of the barrel. Success depends upon the company you keep. Compositions sugar-coated with messages bottled deep. Emotions bought and sold. The going rate is cheap. Give me a lesson. The bombs are 101. 'Cause I can smile and I can dance. Pull my strings and give me some gas because I don't wanna lead another life and wanna go the other. Top 40, look out, 'cause I'm gonna be number one. Business tycoon, writing songs and crying. Consumer reports show what needs good distribution. Appeal the masses, the best as you can. Radio DJs spreading your disease. Infectious transmission from sea to shining sea. Music without soul, an empty shell. Give me a lesson. The box are 101. 'Cause I can smile and I can dance. Pull my strings and give me some gas because I don't wanna lead another life and walk on the others. Top 40, look out, 'cause I'm gonna be number one. Radio down, get me up for miles. But the only thing coming through is a narrow